At Arizona State University, we offer a wide variety of degree programs online to match all kinds of interests and career aspirations. Programs that are taught by the same notable faculty who teach on campus and designed using innovative technology to improve learning outcomes and equip you for post-graduation success. That's why 87% of ASU online graduates indicated they were promoted at work or received an increase in salary after earning their degree. Find your program at asuonline.asu.edu.
You're commuting home with Katz and Cosby. Now, here's John Catsimatidis and Rita Cosby on 77 WABC.
And joining us now here with some big breaking news is John Solomon with Just the News. John, what do you know about the suspected Trump assassin?
Well, listen, we know that at least 4 times since 2019, he was on the radar of federal law enforcement. First in 2019, when a tipster came into the FBI and said he's in possession of weapons, even though he's a previously convicted felon. He was convicted of owning a weapon of mass destruction, a machine gun. The FBI doesn't follow up. Twice in 2022, a nurse, an American nurse, volunteering to help war-injured veterans and war-injured civilians in Ukraine, raises concerns with the federal law enforcement, saying this gentleman, Ryan Ruth, in Ukraine is disturbing to me. He needs to be investigated. There's no apparent follow-up with her. And then now we know from records obtained today by Just the News that when Ryan Ruth returned from Ukraine after his efforts to recruit foreign fighters to come into Ukraine to help Ukraine fight Russia, he was stopped by the U.S. Customs and Border Protection Agency while he was returning to Hawaii, to the Honolulu airport. His comments to the agents made them suspicious. They did a more detailed interview. In that detailed interview, they learned some disturbing information. They learned that he admitted that he had been recruiting as many as 100 foreign fighters from Taiwan, Afghanistan, Moldova, Syria, and other locations to maybe go fight for the Ukrainians. Now, that's a red flag for 2 reasons. What's an American doing in a war zone? What is an American doing contacting both allies, Taiwan, and enemies, Afghanistan? They are so concerned, they open a file and they recommend that the Homeland Security Department's version of their own FBI, they call it the HSI, the Homeland Security Investigations Unit, that they further investigate Ryan Ruth, given this activity that he admitted to. By the way, he says where he gets his money from. He says it's from his wife. He says that he had a group that he was operating in Ukraine. They have the name of it. But despite that, Alejandro Mayorkas, the Homeland Security Department, the HSI, they do not act. They decline to open up an investigation. The fourth of 4 opportunities to potentially engage Ryan Ruth, maybe stop him, put him on a different path than the path we found him on Sunday, where he apparently was trying to shoot President Trump.
Well, I mean,
wow.
Yeah, it is a wow, but he actually, he had to be working for one of the governments that was paying him, or he was working for some intelligence agency of one of the governments. And I don't know which government, I don't know which intelligence agency, but the way you describe it, that is the story. And you see this in the movies all the time.
It does feel like a movie, doesn't it? Unfortunately, it has real-life tragic consequences and nearly another assassination. Listen, this is what I think is very important. There are 2 big developments in the last 12 hours that probably don't tickle most everyday American ears, but they're very important. The first is a former senior FBI official who did these sort of cases for 20, 30 years in the government. Jeff Danik told me he is certain that the CIA would have a file on this guy, that the activity he was involved in overseas, having contacts with both enemy and favorable nations, trying to get fighters on the ground, that the CIA almost certainly would be monitoring him and his devices, even if he was an American, because he was on foreign soil. The second thing came a few hours after that interview I did with Jeff Danik, when the FBI agent in charge of the investigation in Florida, the special agent in charge of the Miami office, said the National Security Division of the Justice Department has joined the investigation and is helping to execute search warrants. Why is that significant? The National Security Division deals with 2 things: foreign powers involved in a potential crime on U.S. soil. If a foreign power was helping or assisting Mr. Roos, we're not saying he did, but they would do that. Or they're the liaison that would execute search warrants and subpoenas from the CIA and U.S. intelligence agencies, get what's in their files and provide that to the FBI, what would be relevant to the FBI. But the the involvement of the NSD, the National Security Division of the Justice Department, John, goes right to the issue that you're talking about. There is something that the intelligence community knows about this guy, whether he was working for them or not. It's almost certain they were monitoring these activities. But again, 4 times where the FBI and HSI could have engaged this guy and found out what he was up to long before this past Sunday.
John Solomon, if the CIA has it, you will never, ever, ever see it.
Yeah, we just still don't have all the files on Lee Harvey Oswald 60-plus years later, so you're exactly right.
You'll never, ever, ever see it. Rita?
John, I want to ask you, too, to your point about sort of a foreign power. First of all, it's weird. Here's this guy, as you talk about, he has this weapon of mass destruction, holds up a business for multiple hours 20 years ago. He gets access to a gun. He apparently had 100 run-ins in North Carolina. There is something much more to the story. But I want to also ask you real quick about the fact that it looks like he knew President Trump was golfing that day when it seems like the Secret Service was barely aware. Is there more to the story on that?
Well, listen, that's exactly what the local sheriff said who arrested him. Is there a conspiracy? How does someone find out about a private golf game that's not public? That is a very important issue. Was it a foreign power? Was it an insider? Was it pure luck? Did he just guess, hey, it's a sunny Sunday, maybe President Trump is going out? We don't know, but that is going to be one of the top questions that the FBI and others are going to try to answer. I think another one that has to be reviewed time and again is the posture that the Secret Service had at that course. Now, this is the new and improved Secret Service, if you believe the Secret Service. They're covering a golf course. They don't sweep the golf course. They don't have drones up. They don't have a dog searching. If that gentleman doesn't poke that barrel of the gun out just far enough for that unbelievable agent to notice that, or if it was a more trained assassin, we would be having a very different conversation today. I want to just tell you something that Eli Crane, former Navy SEAL, now Arizona congressman, told me today. He's a trained killer. He was sent on assassination missions on behalf of our country. He said a trained assassin would have cut a hole in the fence, never let the barrel come out. He wouldn't have had the plates, those ceramic plates to protect him from incoming fire. He would have painted them not white. He would have painted them green to blend into the bush. A real assassin would not have been detected by that Secret Service, and that should concern all of us. That's coming from a real assassin. It was pure luck and, some skill, obviously, by this one agent. But why is the Secret Service in that weak of a position when they're protecting the president? That's a very troubling question for people of both sides of the political aisle right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So many questions. John, keep us posted. There's a lot more to the story. Thank you.